I'd rather pay for something that's going to save me time and save me a headache versus me doing it on my own. I'm that type of person. I know my limitations. I know my flaws. I know certain things that are just out of my hands that I'm not good at. So I pay for convenience. Right now, we're living in a world where AI is taking over. Content creating is taking over. Last I looked, content creating is like, I want to say it was like a $20 billion industry. I may be inflating those numbers, but I seen it was in the billions. So every business now should have a digital presence. Hey, what's up, everybody? You know what it is. It's your boy, Sebastian Sanders. We are back with another episode of the Money Monday series. Hey, guys, before we get into anything, you already know what it is. Do what you got to do. Like, comment, subscribe. Join the Money Mondays family here on the Sanders Network on YouTube. Guys, if you haven't already tapped into our channel when you subscribe, you get access to all of the Sanders Hand official videos, all of the Young Billionaire Club videos. You get to see all of the students that we coach in our program, get to see their businesses, get to see them pitch. You get to see behind the scenes vlogs of our program. Guys, we got a whole lot here at the channel, not just Money Mondays. So once you join the family, you get access to all of those great things that I hope inspire you all. But without further ado, let's get right into it, guys. Man, today's episode is going to be a good one, right? Today is going to be one of those episodes where we really deep dive into, like, you know, how do you start something? Like, what exactly are we going to do? So 10 businesses you should start in 2026. The economy has changed. Let's just be real. Things have changed. Things change month to month, quarter to quarter. Consumer behavior is different. But here's where the opportunity is moving. So you got your modern entrepreneur, you have your AI service business, and then you have your small business owners, right? So you got all of these, these things kind of, into one. Let's talk about the 10 businesses you should start in 2026. All right, without further ado, let's get right into it. What do y'all think is going to be the first one? All right, service-based business. Low cost, something that's high demand. Here are some things that you can do in a service-based business. Here are some ideas. Mobile detailing, a cleaning company, pressure washing, home organization, junk removal. People in today's world pay for convenience more than ever. Like, I'd rather pay for something that's going to save me time and save me a headache versus me doing it on my own. I'm that type of person. I know my limitations. I know my flaws. I know certain things that are just out of my hands that I'm not good at. So I pay for convenience. But in the world we live in, everybody wants to make their life a whole lot easier. So your service-based business is something that I think will never go away. I think that's essential, that we're always going to need. And now where I'm at in my career, I'm not too sure if I would go into something that's like really like starting from scratch, like all over again, because I love what I built at Sanders and I want to continue to scale that. I think anything that I get into next has to be service-based, has to be something that's essential. So something that you look on paper that may not be the prettiest of the business, but I know that people are going to need. So you got your service-based business. Next, you got your digital service businesses, video editing, podcast production, social media management, website design. Right now, we're living in a world where AI is taking over. Content creating is taking over. Last I looked, content creating is like, I want to say it was like a $20 billion industry. I may be inflating those numbers, but I seen it was in the billions. So every business now should have a digital presence. With that being said, you have a lot of business owners who are at the age where they don't understand social media. They don't understand content. So they need people to come in and create that for them. Digital service businesses who provide services to help others, kind of like B2B, business to business, you are in high demand. Like, I know my camera guy, Caleb, man, I've been working with him for years, and like, I've seen like our growth in our relationship, everything he does for us, but I've also seen him get so busier working with so many clients because everybody needs business. Not just content creators, but organizations, nonprofits, restaurants. Everybody needs content. Everybody's trying to produce content. So if you're already in that space where you can do video editing, podcast production, man, you'll make a killing right now because everybody's into that right now. Next, education and coaching. Anything education related will always be something that's around because colleges is not going to shut down. Public school is not going to shut down. People are homeschooling their kids now. Education is like the it thing right now. So you got to think about, okay, if I want to get into education, like what kind of education can I go into? There's so many different niches that you can go. You got financial literacy. You have career coaching. You have SAT, ACT tutoring. You have trade skill workshops, youth programs. People pay for transformation and guidance, right? A lot of times, if you want to do something, you may go buy a book, or maybe you may pay for a consulting fee or something from somebody who's an expert in it. So education is always going to be around. No matter how much they try to say people don't need to go to college or whatever, education is always going to be here. So with that being said, understanding that, these are some of the things you want to start looking at in businesses you should start. All right, next, we're looking at community and experience businesses, networking events, community fitness, programs, workshops, small niche events. We are coming out of 4 or 5 years out of COVID now, maybe even longer. So people are starting to get back in person. Everybody wants to get back in person, hang out, do the thing, connect with people, have a community. So we're kind of getting away from the virtual and all the Zoom stuff. So with that being said, creating an experience for people is something that I'm starting to see take off even more. Creating a community around people, something that they can go to. I don't know if you guys are paying attention, but like right now, it's like the wave of run clubs. Like everybody named Mama is in a row club now. Even if you wasn't running before, you are joining because there's a sense of community there, right? And so start to think about like, what do people like? Like they got like the anime groups, right? People that love watching anime, they get together and do their own thing. You got book clubs, you got comic clubs. You got clubs for anything that you may think is like weird, that you may think nobody else likes. There's a club out there for that. And if you're one of those people that loves connection and love connecting with people, maybe you start a business around that specific niche. I think the key to this is when you're building an experience or community, make sure it's niche related. Do not try to serve everybody, because once you serve everybody, you serve nobody. So think about serving a specific group. And man, when you find your group and you find your community, you will start to see that thing grow, because there's a lot of more people out here that enjoy what you like versus what you don't like. And you may meet new friends, meet new community, and overall just build some great experiences. All right, next, healthcare and wellness. Health will always be recession relevant. Right now, we are not necessarily in a recession, quote unquote, but I think our economy is not in the best, right? And so a lot of times, healthcare and wellness are some of the things that people disregard and people don't look at, because we feel like, okay, I don't have the extra disposable cash to do X, Y, and Z. But you build a business that's affordable solution for people that still helps people feel good. Trust me, you'll be just fine. That's meal prep. That's senior care support, right? Everybody has to get old. And so our seniors tend to be kind of neglected and left out. So maybe you create a business that's going to support them. Mental wellness, mental health is a huge thing in today's world, especially with social media and everything that's going on. So maybe building something around that to serve others. Fitness coaching. I see coaches that sell like ebooks on how to eat healthy. They sell videos on how to do workouts, right? And you may think this stuff is crazy because all you gotta do is go on YouTube, but people want to be supported in ways that they traditionally couldn't be supported in 15, 20 years ago. And so if you look at it like this, an aging population plus burnout economy equals opportunity. The more we get burnt out, and you got to think about the burnout, everybody's working more hours and working more jobs so they can even just make ends meet, because everything is just so inflated and expensive. At some point, people are going to burn out and they need somewhere to go to. That's your opportunity to be that healthcare and wellness product or service. Next, AI. Everybody talks about AI, man. And the thing I see about AI is too, which I think we have to be careful of. I'm starting to see every business is created AI powered firm, and we help people create podcasts. I'm just throwing out an example, but AI is everywhere and it's the hot thing right now. So you definitely want to get in where you can fit in. But maybe you create a business around AI workflow setup, CRM automation, chatbot setup, email. Maybe you create systems, or maybe you just automate processes for small business owners, teachers, educators, whoever you want to serve. Most companies still don't understand AI yet, right? A lot of us, we use AI, but from a company perspective, when you're using it on a larger scale and you're serving more people and your employees, you don't necessarily how to do that, right? And so maybe you create a service-based or product-based business where you teach people how to implement AI at their company. So anything AI right now is something you should be pointing your resources into. Next is real estate. Real estate is ultimately the key to wealth. I think John Hope Bryant talks about this a lot, right? The biggest transaction that most people can make is probably going to be a home, right? And that's their key to building their first foundation of true wealth. And so you can get into real estate, but you can get into real estate without owning property, right? And so here are a few things you can do in real estate. You can do Airbnb cleaning. Everywhere you go, everybody has 1,000 millions of Airbnbs, right? You can clean Airbnbs. You can do property management. People buy real estate out of the city and out of state all the time. They still need somebody to manage it. Maybe you be a property manager for them. Real estate content, real estate social media. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up, but real estate agents is like the new content creators, right? They're coming out the house. They got the edits. It's live. I love seeing it, right? I love seeing the creativity. So maybe you say, okay, I don't want to shoot videos or regular stuff anymore. I want to support real estate. There's a huge market for that. Leasing support, helping people do contracts, negotiations, buyouts, all of that good stuff. And then, the good old faithful is the moving support, moving services. I always wanted to do like not a moving company, but maybe like a business company that people can refer to help move out of stuff, move from office to office or something like that, right? I always wanted to do something like that, but it just wasn't my lane, and I didn't quite know how to do so, and I had my hands tied into too many other things. So don't always say I didn't give you nothing. I just gave you a free business if you want to take advantage of it. But these are some of the businesses that you can start right now today if you're going into that real estate niche. But overall, the lesson in all of this is stop chasing a cool business. If you go back and look at the list, none of those businesses are the prettiest thing to do. Sometimes they can be like, kind of ugly things, right? And when I say ugly, I don't mean that in a derogatory matter. But I'm saying is, what I'm saying, like in business, you got the pretty looking businesses and you got the business that nobody wants to do. It's the ugly work. It's the work that nobody really wants to get their hands dirty. A boring business often makes the most money. I'm going to just be honest with you guys. Boring. People can say they don't like it. They can say, I don't want to get my hands dirty. That's the ugly type stuff. Nah, man, that's what most of the money is at. Trust me. And sometimes I wish, I could have got into the boring stuff first because, man, boring is smooth. You don't have to do too much overselling. But often, man, that's what a lot of the stuff is. So if you're thinking about starting something in 2026 and beyond, think about what people need the most. And it's okay if that's a boring business. And as a quick run through, guys, I want to run through this one more time to make sure you're understanding the top 10 businesses you should be starting in 2026. Real estate, anything that's AI, automation, and business, healthcare and wellness, community and experience-based business, education and coaching, digital service type businesses, service-based businesses. Those are the top 10 businesses you start. I went through a lot of examples, guys. You can check these out on the slides. You know what it is. It's Money Mondays, guys. We're not just talking it. We're actually living it. We just went through a whole breakdown of example of the type of businesses you should be starting in 2026 and beyond. You got to see it to believe it. Guys, do me a huge solid. Like, comment, subscribe. Join the Sanders Hand HQ on YouTube channel. This is our Sanders Network. Join the Money Mondays family. Let me know what you guys want to hear. Let me know what you guys want to see. I'll see you on the next episode.